Hey guys, today I'm gonna rank all the Star Wars movies from best to worst. This is not my personal opinion, you have to agree with it. Only kidding, this is just my personal opinion on what I think is the best to worst of the Star Wars movies. So first up was the worst Star Wars movie of all time.
Now this is pod racing.
Okay, episode 1 wasn't that bad. Most people put episode 2 at the bottom, but episode 1 really isn't very useful for the storyline of Luke. And I will have to put in there, we do have to put up with a lot of
Binks.
Yeah, so both of those two things don't apply to episode 2, which is why I think episode 1 isn't as good. Well, Jar Jar is still in episode 2, but he's not really annoying. So, yeah, that's how I say episode 1 is the worst Star Wars movie of all time. So now the second worst is episode 2.
I don't like sand.
Like, who the freak doesn't like sand? You can make sand castles, you can dig holes and bury yourself in them. Like, come on! Okay, I will point out that the only reason Hayden Christensen's dialogue was so bad is because George Lucas wrote it. And he didn't get too much of a say. And the reason he's so whiny is all the Vader stuff. But still, it is really not a good movie. But it still has to go above episode 1 because there's less Jar Jar and it's way more relevant to the story. And if you watch it first, you wouldn't be confused about all of this stuff because they just make it like you don't need to watch the other movies. So there, episode 2 is the second worst movie. So the third worst, I personally think, is Rogue One.
What the hell?
Okay, before you go down and hate me and dislike all my videos, just bear with me. Now, the main problem I have with Rogue One is episode 4. It's just that what they're doing is they're creating backstory for episode 4, which Lucas never had in mind. So it kind of has the feeling of they're just trying to tape over all the plot holes. So it kind of doesn't feel like it works. It's still a good movie. And the transition from Rogue One to episode 4 works really well. But some parts just feel a bit out of place. Like, for example, in episode 4, when they're still in the Death Star plans, they're hoping that there'll be a flaw which they can exploit to blow up the Death Star. When Jin says there's definitely a flaw. Though Disney does, kind of clear this up by having them not believe Jin, but it just kind of feels like the easy way out of the problems. So that's why I think Rogue One is the third worst movie on my list. So next up is... So yes, the reason episode 3 is above Rogue One is I just think it did a better job of explaining backstory than Rogue One did. As it just, there's no flaws in the Vader Anakin thing. Yeah, but still there's some very awkward scenes.
You're so beautiful.
It's only because I'm so in love.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure love scenes when they're only talking aren't supposed to be that awkward. So that's why I put episode 3 as the fourth worst Star Wars movie. So now we're up to episode 8. Okay, I do respect Rian Johnson as the director. He did make a very good movie, but it doesn't fit with episode 7 as well as I would expect. Episode 8 is a really good movie on its own, but we are talking for the whole franchise of Star Wars movies. So that's why episode 8 isn't as good. For example, how Luke went in hiding for many years, as he should only go for 8 months. I do like that in the movie because it does add an interesting aspect, but for the rest of Star Wars, it doesn't fit very well. So that's all I really have for episode 8 for why it's at 5th worst movie on my list, or 5th best movie on my list. So next up is episode 7. So yeah, it's better than 8 because, you know, it's the first movie we get to see Rey, Finn, Kylo Ren, Poe. Yeah, and we get to see Luke and Leia and Han and Chewie at older ages. So, also get to see Snoke. It's just a good movie, but it's not the original. So, and also it does copy 4 a lot. So, that's why it's at the 4th best movie. Next is episode 6, which I put at 3rd best because of the Ewoks. The Ewoks is kind of like the original trilogy's version of Gungans, but they're not as annoying. I just find it's kind of stupid that the stormtroopers are getting hurt by rocks. And they've got armor on. Like, come on. It's not that hard, stormtroopers. That's all really I have against it. Next is episode 4. Okay, 4 is really good. I mean, really good. 6 was also really good, but 4 is better because there's no Ewoks. It's really just flawless. Okay, now, the best Star Wars movie of all time is episode 5. Okay, this is flawless, like episode 4, except it's just epicer. Like, you've got the Darth Vader is Luke's father reveal, you've got the battle on Bespin, you've got the battle on Hoth, you've got Han Solo driving the Millennium Falcon through an asteroid belt. It's just so good. Like, also Vader's voice sounds epic on Cloud City when he's fighting Luke. Just putting it out there. So thank you guys for watching. This is my top or ranking or whatever you want to call it of the Star Wars movie. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. Share the video on every social media platform that ever existed. But till then, see you later.